What a country. It takes us back to our Arabic countries in the 50s and the 60s, where if they find a pamphlet in your house, you get thrown in jail for the rest of your life. They went to Mubashar. Musharraf. They went to Musharraf and they told him, close down these Quran schools. Why? Why do you think? That's why Salah ad-Din established these schools. We have to raise a ummah who knows Islam. And of course Musharraf gave in, and the Saudis given in, and Egypt is given in, and the whole world is given in, because the power today, or the truth, is with the one who is powerful. One who's weak, even if he has the truth, no one listens to him. So they're always given in to that which they want. Salah ad-Din knew this. I have to find people with aqidah, with belief. Who could imagine he had regular fiqh classes in his towns where he stayed at? Fiqh classes, tafsir, hadith, seerah. Salah ad-Din, the one who when we see him, we think he has a sword in his hand and he's swinging that sword. No! Salah ad-Din knew how to build a foundation, like the foundation that taught him knowledge, ibadah, aqidah, all that. The military thing is the easiest, wallahi al-azim. The military thing is the last, and it's the easiest. So he sits there in Egypt teaching, and he takes the Azhar, he closes the Azhar down, and he abolishes, or he doesn't kill Shia. He didn't even kill the Fatimiyin or Ubaydiyin. He thought it was wisdom not to kill them, but to tie in the lid on them. No one can spread this deviant belief. No one can curse the Sahaba. No one can claim their sheikhs are like Allah. No one can claim their sheikhs are ma'soom. He tied in the lid on them to the point they began to escape. And this time, his uncle and Nuruddin, the one I talked about, died. But before that, they had control of Egypt and all Syria under their control. These, by the way, were not the Khulafa. Someone had a misconception yesterday. These guys are not the Khalifa. You don't say the Khalifa, Salah ad-Din. These were merely governors. Khilafah was the Abbas Khilafah. But they were so weak, they had nothing. They had no control. And every time Salah ad-Din, from his wisdom, every time he did something, he'd send a letter to the Abbasi Khalifa and say, is it okay if we do this? Okay if we do it? Even though Salah ad-Din had so much fame and so much strength and power and troops, that he could have took the Khilafah if he wanted to. But Salah ad-Din is not a man to go around and think that, I want Salah ad-Din to become popular. That's why Allah raised his name. A man who has leadership of most part of the Arabic world dies with 1 dinar and 40 dirham. Meaning, I, Salah ad-Din, who am I? Let me die. Let me get shredded to pieces. Who am I? Let my name die out as too. As long as I give victory to Allah, as long as I enter the heaven. So Salah ad-Din stays there. And to know about Salah ad-Din, one time how just he was. One time he heard his son was a governor in a certain area of the Arabic world. He heard his son kicked all the scholars out, and he brought a man who does black magic. Turn the heat off, Omar. Turn it all the way off. He met a man who does black magic. He brought him next to him, and he made that man his advisor, and he ousted all the scholars. Salah ad-Din gets the news. He says, change it around. Salah ad-Din never did anything without the advice of the scholars. Every minor thing, every tiny little dime he spent, dirham he spent, he had to ask the scholars, is it okay? Is it haram? Is it halal? Even though he himself was what you call a scholar. Salah ad-Din is not just a warrior. Salah ad-Din is, if you today classify him, a alim, a imam, a da'iyah. Yes. Yeah, you have to be that in order to be a warrior as well. You can't take one part and leave the other part. Just like a scholar, Nuruddin. So he sent a letter to his son. He said, bring back those scholars and chop the neck of that man who does black magic, or I myself am going to come down where you're and chop both your necks off. That's to his son. I'm going to chop your neck off. If you don't get that man who does black magic out of there. Yes, the justice of it. You know how just he was? He was just to the point, if he said someone gotta be killed for killing, or someone's hand gotta be cut for stealing, or any hukum he made, the most person, all of the historians say, the most person that say he was the most just man is the one he declared the judgment on. He says, your guy gonna get caught? He says, Wallah, you're the most just man. That's how his justice was. His justice throughout spread. You have to have justice in order to be supreme. He has now under his control Egypt and Syria, in a large portion of the Arabic world, after his uncle died and after Nuruddin died. What does he do? Brings the girls and the parties and think about how I can establish my wealth. He could have done that, just like the other leaders did. But this wasn't a man who was working for himself. He was working for Allah. He looks out just like Abu Ubaidah exactly did. The same lens. The same lens I told you in the introduction. Abu Ubaidah went. He goes to them one after another. He goes to Akka. He goes to Haifa. He's in the direction. He's going from Damascus, the direction of Palestine. I gotta take Bayt al-Maqdis down. I gotta pray in it. That speech letter Nuruddin left me, I'm gonna give a speech on it. That's his aim and that's his goal. And he kept advancing towards Palestine. The Romans see it. It's a danger. They unite all of them against him. It's said that tens of kings and leaders all unite against Salah ad-Din. The French, the British, all face Salah ad-Din. And it's a huge war. It's a huge, it was a huge battle under the name of, who remembers the name? It's a popular name. I know all of you know. Yeah, but what's the name of the battle in Arabic? It has a popular name. We need to have a same kind of battle. How can you have the same kind of battle if you don't know the name? Hittin. This was the biggest battle he led. Hittin. Everyone united against him. Salah ad-Din is there by himself. Few. Like I told you, his teacher Nuruddin used to tell them, give me 1,000 men, I'll take any army down. Because it's not number-wise we live. You know what Salah ad-Din used to do when he led a battle? He never would lead a battle unless he prayed Fajr and made everyone make dua. One time they were awaiting the morning to come, the sunrise, so they can go and lead a battle. And he found everyone sleeping. And he woke them all up. Get up and pray and make dua. Wallahi, our defeat is going to come from you. Why? Why is our defeat going to come from you? Were they drinking? Were they gambling? Were they just gossiping and joking around? Just because they're sleeping at night time rather than making qiyam and dua. Get up! Our defeat is going to come from you. Made them all get up and make dua. Yes, that was Salah ad-Din. He goes to Hittin and he has a massive army awaiting him. The kings and everyone is over there, and Allah gives him victory. Killing and murdering to the point Ibn al-Athir rahimahullah says, when you look at the bodies on the floor of the crusaders, you think the whole army is there and there's no prisoners. The whole army is on the floor. The camels, the horses to certain areas were up to their knees in bodies. In bodies. Bodies after bodies. It's victory from Allah. This man put between his eyes, إن تنصر الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم. If you give victory to Allah, Allah will give victory to you and give you the right stance. وما النصر إلا من عند الله. Victory is only from Allah. He put that between his eyes and he advanced and advanced. Allah gave him victory. He didn't say victory comes from the peace talks. He could have done that. He didn't say that. That only makes you lower than you're at. We say that and we continue to say that. He didn't say, let me take an olive branch and run to the United Nations. He didn't say that. He said, I'm going to fight them with the power of Allah. With La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. He advanced. Ibn al-Athir says, when you look at the bodies, you think the whole army is over there. Then you look over there, the prisoners are there. You think the whole army, masses of people, these were all prisoners. And he's over there, his son next to him, Salah ad-Din. Salah ad-Din, his son is next to him. He says, we became victorious. His father tells him, shut up, ya ahmaq, you idiot. Shut your mouth, you idiot. We haven't become victorious until the flag of La ilaha illallah becomes supreme all over this earth, and until the flag of the Crusaders falls down. This was a man who never smiled. You remember I told you about his teacher? What did his teacher do? I told you yesterday, when they mentioned the hadith, and at the end of the hadith, Nuruddin didn't smile. The Prophet ﷺ at the end of the hadith smiled. Nuruddin didn't smile. His soldiers told him, he follows the sunnah. How come you didn't smile like the Prophet smiled, when everyone smiled? What was his answer from yesterday? How can I smile where when there was a portion of the ummah where they were surrounded by the Crusaders? How can I smile when that's going on? How can I smile when Muslims are being killed? The same thing his student did, Salah ad-Din. Why aren't you smiling? And Hittin, after Hittin, why aren't you smiling? How could I smile when Bayt al-Maqdis is not under the control of the Muslims? How can I? How can we smile when Palestine and Spain and all the Muslim world are not under the control of the Muslim. In that which are under the physical control of the Muslims, in reality are not under the control. They're under the control of the East and the West. How can we? How can you smile? How can you smile when a day doesn't go by when the Muslims are massacred in any? Open the news and find me a day. Give me a day. I ask you by Allah, give me a day where Muslims are not massacred. You've ever seen that? Wallah, I haven't seen that in years. In years and years. A day. Not a day in all the world. A day in Palestine where they're not massacred. Just one day. The same land these ancestors of ours generously spilt their blood on. He heads towards Palestine after his great victory in Hattin, and he surrounds Bayt al-Maqdis. He's got the power. And he sends the leader inside, sends him a letter. Salah ad-Deen, we're willing to